Hey guys, thanks for stopping by and checking out our YouTube channel today. If you missed it, last week we announced that we're having our 6th kid. So we are pregnant with kiddo number 6, and we're super excited about that and super glad we were able to share that with you guys last week. Coming up this weekend, we're actually going to be having a gender reveal. So you guys will be able to be a part of that with us as well, and we're really excited to find out what this baby's going to be. What I want to talk about today is this conversation that I've had a lot over the last 7 days. And it goes something like this. Hey, Benjamin, I saw your video. You're having another kid. Yeah, baby number 6. You do know where those come from, right? And at that point, I'm always like, was that a rhetorical question? Or like, we need to have that conversation or what? And you know, if it happened once, it'd be one thing. But normally I end the conversation, it's like, and try to change the subject. So since that question has come up so many times, I've began to wonder, do I really know where they come from? So maybe a great starting point would be with a baby doll. So where did you come from, baby doll? Oh, I remember seeing these when I was a little kid. This will definitely tell me where you came from. China. Hey, Charlie.
Hey.
Have you been to China in the last few months?
No.
You plan on going anytime soon?
No.
Oh, okay. So I figured what better place to go than directly to the source, to a baby. Baby Margaret. Margaret, can you tell me where babies come from? Do you remember where you came from? It's been a long time since I was a baby. I don't remember. Can you teach me? I guess not, huh? All right, we'll try something else. So I've got it this time. I know where to find the answer. Hey Alexa, where do babies come from?
Babies are made through the process of reproduction.
Oh, okay. Alexa, what is reproduction?
The noun reproduction is usually defined as the natural process among organisms by which new individuals are generated and the species perpetuated. Other customers have also asked, what is perpetuated? Would you like to know the answer?
I don't think so. I think I'm even more confused now than before. There's only one other place I know to find out.
Well, today we are diving into a topic that I feel like is a very personal decision, but we're just going to share our journey and our thoughts because we get asked a whole bunch. And it is the topic of big family, and the biggest question I get asked is, did you want to have a big family? Was that always in the plans? No. In fact, growing up, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to have any children. And then when we got married, thought maybe one, possibly two. And we were actually married for 3 or 4 years before we even had a kid. And we had Presley, and then about 3.5, 4 years later, we had Jackson. Sort of thought we might be done. Like the idea of 3 seemed sort of crazy back then. And the difference maker, I feel like, is that we started going back to church in 2011, shortly after Jackson. He was probably 9 or 10 months. And it was just a time of just really evaluating our life and deciding that it isn't about us, that God is in control. And we just were taking next steps after next steps. And one of the things that just through a Bible study I participated in, just through prayer, just through reading the Bible and coming to my own conclusions about stuff, was the idea that we are not in control, and ultimately we're not in control of our fertility or reproduction. And I know that is not, in a world where we want to be in control of everything, that is not a popular statement, but it even made sense through even at that point looking at our fertility journey, because there were times that we were trying to have a baby and thought for sure it's going to happen, and it didn't happen. And then during that time between Jackson and Asher, we had 2 miscarriages, and wanted both of those babies so badly, and we just aren't in control. And Asher brought a different dynamic to our family. It was hard, but it was just different. I don't know, there was just something different about having this family of 5, a little bit bigger than the norm. And then Eleanor came not long after Asher. They are about 22 months apart, and thought we were probably done at that point, but I was sort of tired of being pregnant and having just newborns all the time. But then we found out we were expecting again, and we had a really awful miscarriage. And all miscarriages are awful, but this one was one of those scary ones with lots of blood loss, and I was sort of bedridden for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. It took a while before I was even back to normal. And so that sort of, it scared us. Yeah. And we thought for them, we're not going to have any more children. It wasn't really because we didn't want any. It was just simply because we were really scared. And Margaret sort of came about unexpectedly, and one of those examples of how we're not really in control. And it's just been a really huge blessing. And then we found out we're having this little one. And so I feel like it's something that has happened organically. And I guess another testament though of just, we aren't really in control. It has happened on his terms, with his plans. And I know that sounds sort of vague and stuff, but it's just, I would have never imagined myself as a mom of 6. Never thought of a big family as something. I watched the Brady Bunch and thought that is crazy and ridiculous, but there is nothing like our house. Yep. And the laughter, the fighting. We are a community. We are helpers. We are, I don't know, just it's a different bond than anything I can explain. And I felt like, I grew up in a close family. There was just 2 of us, but there's just always something going on at our house. It's fun, and something that has been a blessing that I would not have expected, and I would have been missing out on a whole bunch if I had tried to just make my plan work and my plan happen.
Yeah, I would agree. And it still sounds funny, like you said, a mom of 6, and I was like counting in my head. I was like, is it 6? Wow, that sounds so crazy. But yeah, I came from I have 1 sibling, so it's just 2 of us, and like that was an all-American family, and that was sort of, I guess, my expectation. I never, as a kid, sat around thinking about how many kids I wanted to have, but forced to evaluate it, that probably was what I would have said. But yeah, the idea of having a lot is just tons of fun. We have higher highs and lower lows now that we have more kids. But I think the biggest thing that Charlotte was sort of taking their journey, like we've started outside of just going to church, we started like pursuing the Lord and pursuing Christ, and that's really like when this idea of like His love for us, right? And I think the reason that the most recent miscarriage was the most difficult is because we had 3 or 4 kids, and we knew more about like God's love for us and these children made in His image, and like how valuable they are to Him and how valuable we are to Him. And so the loss of something like that, even if you've never like physically met them, it carried a much heavier weight than anything. I mean, honestly, I would say that's the darkest time of our marriage, was that it was just like physically and emotionally and spiritually just darkness for a period of time. And so like I don't know, like we certainly don't want to experience that, but our kids that we have and that we're going to have, they're sort of, I don't know, the personification of that love that we get to experience and model and teach and train.
There is no greater example on earth, I feel like, to know God's love for us than to be a parent, because it is just an unconditional love, and it's nowhere even near how God feels about us. But it's just, and I guess that doesn't really go along with having a big family, but it has been a blessing. I feel like that, you know, I feel like some people feel sorry for us. Oh my goodness, you got your hands full. I promise you, there is nothing else I'd rather have my hands full of. It is just amazing, and our children are one of the biggest blessings God has ever given us. And so when people say, are you having more, like you're having another one, like I cannot imagine not having one of the blessings that God has given us. I cannot imagine our family without Asher, without Margaret, without Presley or Jackson or Eleanor, and soon to be this baby. Life would be incomplete without one of them, and God knew best when it came to our family. So we're not saying that means we feel like you should have 6 kids, but if you're a Christian, you know, pray and, you know, read the Bible and ask the Lord to direct you on what your path is. And that's, I think, you know, all we can do.
Yep.
So if you have questions, then go to God. But thank y'all for, do you have anything else you want to
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, thank you for stopping by. We're really excited to share that gender reveal with y'all on Saturday, and y'all can find out what baby number 6 is going to be. But until then, we hope you have a blessed week, and we will see you next time.